Hey everyone, if you're watching this and you're on the fence about the Procolored V6 Panda UV printer, I get it. You don't want to drop hundreds of dollars only to realize it can't actually do what you need or that the running costs eat up your profits. Maybe you've seen the specs floating around, but specs don't tell you if it's going to jam when you're printing on a golf ball at 2 a.m. or if the ink dries too fast on metal. So before you click Add to Cart, let's talk about whether this printer is the right move for your setup. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. This isn't one of those printers that just looks good on paper. It's built for direct-to-object printing, which means you're not limited to flat surfaces like paper or vinyl. Think about the last time you tried to print on a phone case, a metal bottle, or even a golf ball. Most printers can't handle that. But the V6 Panda is designed to lay ink directly onto curved, uneven, or textured surfaces without a hitch. That's a game changer if you're into personalized gifts, branded merchandise, or even small batch custom products. The fact that it uses 6 colors CMYK plus white and varnish means you can print vibrant, opaque designs on dark or transparent materials without worrying about the ink bleeding or fading. That's not just a spec. It's the difference between a print that looks like a sticker and one that looks like it's part of the object itself. Now, let's talk about the day-to-day. One thing that stood out to me is the steady ink supply. A lot of UV printers struggle with ink clogging or inconsistent flow, especially if you're printing in batches. But the V6 Panda has a system that keeps the ink circulating, which means fewer interruptions and less wasted material. That's huge if you're running a side hustle or a small business where every minute and every milliliter of ink counts. Plus, the auto-cleaning feature is a lifesaver. If you've ever had to manually clean a printhead after a long print job, you know how tedious it is. This printer does it for you while it's idle, so you're not stuck babysitting it all night. But here's the thing, this printer isn't for everyone. If you're only printing on flat surfaces like paper or stickers, you're better off with a standard desktop printer. The real value of the V6 Panda comes from its ability to handle three-dimensional objects, and that's where it shines. It's also not the kind of printer you can just plug in and go. You'll need to learn the software, calibrate the printhead, and experiment with ink settings to get the best results. If you're not willing to put in the time to dial it in, you might end up frustrated. And let's be real, UV printers aren't cheap to run. The ink isn't cheap, and if you're printing on materials that require a lot of white ink or varnish, those costs add up fast. Another thing to consider is the cooling system. The V6 Panda has an advanced air cooling design, which is great for long print jobs. But if you're working in a small, enclosed space, that cooling fan might be louder than you'd like. It's not deafening, but it's noticeable. And if you're printing on heat-sensitive materials, you'll need to keep an eye on the temperature to avoid warping or melting. That's not a flaw of the printer itself, but it's something to plan for. So, who should buy this? If you're a small business owner, a side hustler, or even a hobbyist looking to print on unconventional surfaces, think phone cases, metal tumblers, acrylic keychains, or even golf balls, this printer is worth the investment. It's not just about printing on flat surfaces, it's about expanding what you can create. The software is professional grade, so if you're serious about quality, you'll appreciate the high-speed RIP software that helps with color management and precision. On the flip side, if you're just looking for a printer to handle standard paper or vinyl, or if you don't have the time to learn the software and troubleshoot issues, this isn't the right fit. It's also not ideal if you're on a tight budget, because the ink and maintenance costs can add up quickly. And if you're working in a space where noise is a concern, the cooling fan might be a deal-breaker. At the end of the day, the Procolored V6 Panda UV printer is a solid choice if you need direct-to-object printing and you're ready to put in the work to make it shine. It's not perfect, but it delivers where it matters most, versatility and quality. If you're still unsure, check out the link in the description to see the full specs and decide if it fits your needs. Thanks.